What is up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today I want to talk about side hustles, but more specifically, I want to talk about the best online side hustles that you can pursue from the comfort of your own home and on your own schedule. Now, I love location and schedule independent side hustles, and what this means is that they are side hustles that don't need to be done from a specific place and don't need to be done at any specific time, whether that be on your lunch break, before work, after work, on the weekends, whatever the case is. These side hustles are incredibly flexible, which means they are perfect for people who may have busy schedules or may have a lot going on in their personal life. Because of that, I think that online side hustles, specifically schedule and location independent ones, are one of the best side hustles to pursue, not just for the 2020 holiday season, but also going into 2021 as well. So today I'll be talking about some of the best side hustles that you can pursue, as well as some of the ones that you should avoid. So let's get started. So the first side hustle that I think is really great and oftentimes underrated is a virtual assistant. Now, oftentimes people view a virtual assistant job as like a 9 to 5 where you're a proper employee, you have a W-2, you have insurance, but the fact is that the online space has really changed the game of virtual assistants. Now, I've never actually been a virtual assistant myself, but I know a lot of people who have, and it is a really great side hustle to partake in. Now, the number one reason why I like a virtual assistant as a side gig is because of the fact that it's more long-term. People don't hire virtual assistants for like 1 week at a time or a couple months at a time. If somebody's hiring a virtual assistant, chances are they want to keep that virtual assistant on for quite a while, because there's nothing worse than having to hire a new assistant. And so because of that, I think that this side hustle is a great side hustle to do for more of a long-term thing. The other reason why I like this side hustle is because though I think that traditionally speaking, we see an assistant as like a full-time 40-hour-a-week gig, but the fact is that that kind of climate is changing, and I think that more and more people are looking for part-time or as-needed assistants. For example, I know a lot of people who work with companies for 10 to 15 hours a week as a virtual assistant. This is the type of gig that's perfect for companies that aren't big enough to hire an assistant full-time but still need that assistance on an ongoing basis. And because of that, I think that this type of virtual assistant job would be perfect for somebody who's looking for a long-term part-time job but isn't necessarily looking for more of the traditional gig style work either. I think that a virtual assistant is kind of the best of both worlds. You get the vibe of a real job, you have the stability of a real job, you know that you're going to be working there for a few weeks or a few months or maybe even a few years, but you also have the vibe of a gig job as well, and you're working on your own time, you're working from home, you're working online, and that's really nice. And so a virtual assistant job kind of combines the best of both worlds and gives you a really great gig experience. Because of that, I think that a virtual assistant is an excellent gig to pursue, especially if you're looking for something more stable, more long-term, and if you're able to be really organized and really efficient with your job. The second side gig that I want to talk about is YouTube. Now, this is one of those ones that I really debated on including in this list, and there's a few reasons why I feel conflicted about it. Number one is that YouTube is an excellent side hustle. In my opinion, I think that it's one of the best side hustles that you can do. It has truly changed my life for the better, and I really love the platform. Now, the reason why I didn't want to include it is because YouTube is really difficult to get started, and you're oftentimes working for free before you start making any money from it. Because of that, it may not be the best side hustle for some people. Now, I think that YouTube is an excellent side hustle for people who love to be creative, who like to make videos, who like to provide value, who like to connect with an audience. I think if any of these things describe you, then YouTube could be a really great side hustle for you to pursue. If you're somebody who's just doing it for the money, then you're probably going to be left a little bit disappointed, because YouTube has some pretty strict requirements that you have to adhere to before you can make any money from the platform. So like in the case of me, I didn't make any money for 6 months, and I dedicated a whole lot of time to the platform. But once I started making money and the ball started rolling, I started making a pretty good side income, and now I average about $4,000 per month. If you're somebody who likes to make videos, if you like to connect with an audience, if you like to have a platform, then YouTube is an excellent side hustle, especially if you're making video content of things that you're passionate about. But if you're somebody who's just looking for money, especially quick money, then YouTube probably isn't the best choice for you, because YouTube is definitely a long game that takes time to build, and you really have to be dedicated to it in order to go anywhere with it. But because of the success that I've had on YouTube, I feel like I had to include it on this list, because in my opinion, I think that it's the best side gig I take part in. The third side hustle is one that I did throughout high school and college, and I still do it to this day, and that is creating websites for people. Now, the fact is that if you have a basic knowledge of computers, and if you have a decent understanding of how websites work, then I can almost guarantee you that you can make money making websites for people. The fact is, today you do not need to know how to code in order to make a website. Yeah, it definitely helps to know how to code, but you don't have to be a coding expert in order to make a really professional and really high quality website. There are so many resources out there and platforms out there that allow for you to make websites with a lower level of background knowledge. And platforms like Wix or Weebly, everything is drag and drop, and you really don't need any background knowledge at all to build a decent site on both Wix or Weebly. All of these platforms and more can help you create high quality and professional websites that you can then go sell to businesses. Websites can go from anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. And the best part is that the better you get at creating websites, the more you can charge for them. Everything you need to know in order to make a website is free and easy to access for you online. It's simply just a matter of going out and finding it. If you want to start a website building business, you could get started on websites like Fiverr, Upwork, or Freelancer. You could also go the old school route and reach out to businesses directly and ask them if they would be interested in having a website built. There are so many different ways that you could go about doing it. But once you kind of contact that customer and once you sell them on the idea, the rest is really easy. And once you start selling your first one, then the second one will come easier, then the third will come easier than that, and so on and so forth. I really do believe that making websites is an excellent side hustle. And if you have the work ethic to do it, if you have the kind of will to go out and learn about how to build a website, this is something that anybody can do, and you can make a lot of money in the process. The next side gig that I want to talk about is digital marketing. Now, if you don't know what digital marketing is basically just an umbrella statement for online marketing, or for marketing a service or a product in the online space. So Google ads, Facebook ads, social media, newsletters, all of these things would be considered digital marketing. Now, one of the things that I love about digital marketing is the fact that it's easily accessible and anybody can learn how to do it. This is one of those side hustles that if you simply have the will to learn, you can become an expert digital marketer for free. You can turn to resources like YouTube or Google on how to go about digital marketing. In fact, Facebook has a free course on how to run Facebook ads on their platform. So there is just a slew of resources that you can turn to if you want to learn how to be a digital marketer. The other thing I love about digital marketing is the fact that there are a lot of companies out there that are wanting to hire beginner digital marketers. This is because some smaller companies don't want to pay for the expertise of an expert digital marketer. They would rather pay a lower fee, get a beginner digital marketer, and then train that digital marketer on how to market their product the way they want it to be marketed. In fact, that's one of the ways that I got into digital marketing. I got into digital marketing using the freelancing website Upwork, and I got hired onto a company who was looking for a beginner digital marketer, and I told them I'm a beginner digital marketer. They hired me and they trained me how to become a good digital marketer. So I was able to get paid while learning the craft and being trained by a handful of experts that already knew the craft. So it really was a great win-win situation, and there are tons of opportunities on platforms like Upwork exactly like this. Now lastly, let's talk about side hustles to avoid, because in a way this is almost as important, if not more important, than the ones to pursue. Now, I don't have individual side hustles that I think you should necessarily avoid. Instead, I just have one piece of advice. If you are somebody that sees a side hustle advertised online and they're making extravagant claims, if they're claiming that you can make a lot of money with little to no effort, or if they require you to pay a lot of money up front, these are all side hustles that should be avoided. The fact is that side hustles require work, and making money requires work, time, and effort. And if you see a side hustle out there that's claiming that you don't need any of those three things, more often than not, it's probably going to be a scam. Additionally, all the side hustles that I talked about today do not require any upfront investment. They don't require you to buy a crazy expensive course or a weird product. They are all free to start from the comfort of your own home and on your own schedule. But you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, questions, or if you have any side hustle suggestions that I did not talk about, make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.